Hey everybody, we're having a good day. It is Wednesday, which means it's time to catch a playthrough of the Attorney Trilogy. We are on the final episode of the second game, Dual Destinies, and we are now at the trial proportion of the thing. 2 trials! 2 suspects, essentially. And in a desolated courtroom. Very unorthodox for where we are. But that's all I'm gonna. Let's get into it. December 20th, 3:31 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Oh, this is also the same day as the previous episode, by the way. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. You did? That's great! I really appreciate it. There is quite a bit of notable delay. A red cyclox protects a secret a person is constantly trying to hide. If a person folds under questioning, the locks break and the truth comes out. Yep, exactly how I got the truth out of Detective Fulbright and Dr. Cosmos. But black cyclocks protect a secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. A secret that person isn't even consciously aware of. So even they don't know it's there. Alright. Sorry. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off. Even from herself. Okay, so all I have to do is break the cyclocks. According to my research, a black cyclock is it's like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If they're ripped out by force, it could cause permanent damage to a person's soul. In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Athena for good. Pearls, could you stay by Athena's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden. Alright, but will you be alright by yourself, Mr. Nick? I'm up against Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this trial all my focus and strength. If you can't do that, and you can't do that if I'm there, I'll just hold you back. No, that's not it. I mean, I can relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Athena. You're the only one who can do it, Pearls. Alright, I'll do it then. Good luck, Mr. Nick. Oh, afternoon, Annie. Hope you're having a good day. Oh, did you? Oh. Oh, guys, you need to replay Smash Bros. Good. Now my mind's at ease. I better get ready. I'll just tidy up the evidence and take out what I don't need. Oh. It's time to end this nightmare that started 7 years ago. I think I also made a mistake. I think I said on Monday I said there was 4. No, there's 3 bad endings. December 20th, District Court, courtroom number 4. Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. The roof has been completely blown off and the walls have collapsed. Today, this room will be my battleground. Them courses 9 sessions. Yeah. Court or the fate. Testamento thereof is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes. Hold it. Not the fate. Hashimo, old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously, or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap. Please try not to upset Miss Blackwell. I'm begging you. Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Venus Sykes. This is no trial. It is nothing more than a ridiculous farce. What did you say? Edgeworth, did you not hear what I just said to his honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Recall the case of the UR1 incident, in which the prosecutor was found guilty of murder. The case ushered in the odious dark age of the law. I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind that case today. Precisely. The darkness will be dispelled and glory shall be restored to the court system. Mr. Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth. I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. For 7 years, Simon Blackwell has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I'm sorry, right? But the situation is what it is. And I must do what I must. The prosecution moves to indict Athena Sykes on the count of murder in the first degree.
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have. For that is a part of my creed.
Then you'd better bring it.
If the two of you are ready. Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes.
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
Yeah, it's very nice. The end part has a lot of twists. And then I'm reminded of the Spirit of Justice one. But we'll get to that when we get there. There's immense tension between us. It's like we're picking up right where we left off. It's my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackwell of false accusations and end this insanity. But I have no intention of losing Miss Sykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. No without a doubt that Athena is innocent. I don't think Prosecutor Blackwell did it either. So, you have any clues who was responsible for the sabotage? At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it was clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy. The true culprit is a spy. It's going to be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have any choice if I want to see if Athena and Blackwell aren't exposed to spy. Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth! No need for the Chief Prosecutor bit, Your Honor. I'm here as a simple prosecutor. Very well. Opening statement, please. Prosecutor Edgeworth. No, I've been known to. I'd like to give an impression opening statement myself. In all trials I've ever seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement. Oh, of course! You're right! I was just joking! Just having a little fun! He wasn't doing them just out of fear. Interesting. Let's start with a brief overview of the UR1 incident. The incident occurred at the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago on October 7th. Victim, psychologist Meta Sykes, was killed in the robotics lab on the 4th floor. His mother, Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackwell was the only person in the corridor near to the lab at the time of the murder. And two, his photo, which captures the moment of the crime. Very incriminating evidence indeed! It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackwell did indeed hold it. Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of any kind. This opening statement is over. Now, hurry up and call the witness. Excuse me, Miss Blackwell? We must follow proper procedures for these meetings, you know? Or perhaps we should heed her wishes, Your Honor. She is the child sponsor, after all. Besides, the court is chilly, and sitting for far too long can't be good for your back. Oh! You're very kind to show concern for the welfare of the elderly. As skilled as ever at playing the corpse puppeteer, I see. The prosecution calls its first witness. A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. New testimony? And just who is this witness anyway? Only for my name, in justice we trust! What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackwell. She said she's too busy. With finding and threatening the hostages and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in through Clunko. I'm nothing more than an observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you. Believing her brother innocent, Miss Blackwell has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. I have Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving testimony based on these notes. Here I go! Or a Blackwell theory. Blackwell's here. Lemon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time. They say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Because he was using to hide someone inside. That's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. It totally goes in the face of the official ruling, huh? How about the case she mentions? There were other rolling cases like that one in the lab. But they're not for traveling. They're apparently for moving parts and equipment. I feel like I remember seeing 3 cases, all different sizes. At the last trial, they felt Prosecutor Blackwell used the case to steal the rock. But they have a perfectly good reason to think that too! Then, you see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. And that camera captures footage of Blackwell leaving the scene with the case. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure. Alright, that's been updated. Footage shows corridor black. Oh, sorry. Blackwell was the only one. Okay, alright. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside at the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant, Athena Sachs, found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center, in the Sachs family residence. Prosecutor Blackwell most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Sachs was at the estimated time of death. Miss Sachs was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony. And there was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been. What you're saying is Miss Sachs didn't have an alibi? That is what the evidence is saying, yes. I understand the reasoning behind the theory. As far as I'm convinced, the victim is the accused's mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl? Of course. The girl had a very strong motive. Dr. Sykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotions. You're aware of Athena Sykes' special abilities, aren't you, Your Honor? Are you referring to that therapy thing? Yeah, she's done it quite a few times in court. The ability to read emotions from speech, and the subject of her mother's research. Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it. I don't like where this is heading. Not one bit. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. Prosecutor Ashworth, are you seriously suggesting... I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments. Miss Sykes felt her only chance was to kill her own mother. Ah! Order! Order in the court! What a tragic story! I hardly want to believe it myself! We must proceed. Is it right if you would? Take the proof right. Please refer to the notes. Alright.
Hold it!
So, Prosecutor Blackwell willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else? Yes! That is precisely what Miss Blackwell appears to believe. And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackwell is no murderer, Mr. Wright. But Athena Sachs certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine. I expected no less. Oh, I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating. I'm only reading notes here, but yeah, I feel extra invigorated too. So let's keep going.
Hold it!
But that's just speculation.
Objection!
No, Miss Blackwell has proper grounds for her claims.
Objection!
Then why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection!
You're the one who screamed, "Hold it!" and cut me off. Fine. So maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Ah! Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on.
Hold it!
That rolling kiss. I suppose you mean the one that assists in the photo with Prosecutor Blackwell in it? But was absent when the crime scene photos were taken? Yes, that's the one. Miss Blackwell has drawn a conclusion from those two photos. She has? What is that conclusion? You're the one with her notes. Oh, right. Of course. Reading it now. Why the rolling case?
Hold it!
And how do you propose he hit a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we just saw such a thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show. She fit a grown person into a small box! Oh yeah! We had ruined the memory of a good day. A magic show? Would you have followed to invite me? Actually, I would have liked to go too! My apologies. I'll invite you both next time. I promise. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? Oscar Blackwell was using the case to hide someone!
Hold it!
But there's nothing more than just that. Sorry, but that's nothing more than just reading. But that's nothing more than conjecture, and it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackwell had in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection!
There are three cases at the scene, but Prosecutor Blackwell used the largest one. Okay. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case to just move that rock.
Objection!
But that as it may be, it doesn't prove Miss Sykes was inside. Then let me ask you this: can you come up with a better theory of what was in that case? Was it right? Can you? Yikes! Maybe the guys intend to think. Let's see. Try to blow my way through what could have been the case. Let's not for now. You guys had better wait and see how it goes. It's a clever theory, but it doesn't look like they have any solid proof. If I push, maybe I can cover some flaws in it. Nah, we will.
Hold it!
Objection!
Alright.
Objection!
Let's chat. I know exactly what Prosecutor Blackwell carried from the scene. I just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat. Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory. It's true that is. This is a crime scene photo that was taken after Prosecutor Blackwell left, correct? All we have to do is compare with this photo of Prosecutor Blackwell to see what's missing. If he took someone with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Hey, look. Don't fail me now. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your theory. What the Prosecutor Blackwell take from the scene of the murder? This could be interesting.
Take that!
Please note that there is a robot arm on top of the cart in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime. You do appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. But it's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? Speaking of which, what are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball. Stingy. What happened to the age of free previews? Your Honor, about this robot part. Doesn't it look like it could be from an arm from that robot there? Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But the case is still too big to be practical. And just for the moon rock and the robot arm. Was it really just one arm that was in there? There wasn't Athena in the case. And maybe... I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like the one here. Your Honor, it is the defense assertion that it was this other robot that was in the case. What? They actually put box in the room. We can't be certain that part belongs to a robot. Yes, it looks like the arm of the one before us, but it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandaging, making it difficult to verify what it is.
Objection!
I know for a fact that it is a robot arm. I can even tell which robot it belongs to, just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not. Mr. Wright, I thought you were more of a technological literate type. Let's take preparation on. When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned. Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot the arm belongs to.
Take that!
Yeah. The robot in this picture is named Ponko. But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. You must have thought that machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. The robot arm of the crime scene had the same bandages wrapped around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko. Order on the court! Order, I say! Oscar Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this? I can see that the robot is about the same size as the child, but it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it was the largest of the case, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there. The case does come up about mid-five on Prosecutor Blackwell. To your point, the robot is much taller than that. They've got me there. So then, the Prosecutor Blackwell make Ponko fit in the case by... Dismantle. Of course Ponko would fit. All Prosecutor Blackwell had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside that rolling case. It appears to be a robot assembly device. Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. That sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick? It does sound rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point there.
Objection!
Except that there was a body on the table where the robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
But, what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used instead? You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I would like your opinion as a woman of science. Isn't it true that the katana could have been used to take the robot apart? I suppose so. Their joints aren't made of very tough material. A blade could slice through them. Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackwell. Thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Ponko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Ponko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't be... That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It's instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the bloody katana. Most likely, the rest of Poncho is scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet. Not hearing this. Therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot. Miss Sykes was never the scene of the crime, but the scene at the time of the murder. Ah! My head! My head! My body! Where am I? Ah! Order! Order on the court! It's true that Ponko was found in pieces after the murder. And I admit I repaired her myself afterwards. Go to the crime update in the court record. Yes, finally making some progress. Hopefully, I've gotten at least one step closer to proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell innocent.
Objection!
Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I can see that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. Alright. What's going on here? It's never good when he plays things that's the street. Does the prosecution withdraws claim that the defendant was carried from the scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Ponko and Miss Sykes couldn't have both been inside that case.
Objection!
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. Thanks to the defense. Edgeworth? He's been one step ahead of me this whole time? In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene? Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body, as if he were holding something. Or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The circle Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. This blood was found on the front of it, and the stain has a highly distinctive shape. A bloodstained with a distinctive shape? Please continue, Prosecutor Edgeworth. 7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item, of which there are only one in the world. A special pair of headphones made just for her. He always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. Analysts show the bloodstain to be in the exact same shade as these headphones. In other words, this was no mere blood spatter. But the blood went from the victim's body to the headphones, and then was imprinted on the Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp. Most gruesome stamp indeed. Blackwell carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Sykes was, without question, present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument. Order! If the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection!
We've also shown that the robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that. No, but you can't say the possibility isn't there. Alright. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? Nope. I don't see any record. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turns out, the robot was actually integrally related, sorry. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. A rumor witness! Order! Order in the court! Oscar Edgeworth, what do you think about this? Mr. R has called all matters of witness to the stand over the years. So why not a robot? Nothing surprises me any more of him. Very well, I'm allowed to witness. Edith, please summon the robot named Ponko. Yes, please state your name and occupation. My name is not Witness. My name is Ponko. Yes, I realize that. But when you're at the witness stand, you are the witness. No, I'm not. I'm Ponko. Say it with me now. Ponko. What? An utterly inflexible little robot. You're the last person who should be calling anyone inflexible. You remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Alright, Ponko. I'm going to ask you some questions. Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your questions? I want to know if you were at the scene of the murder of Meta Sykes. It was 7 years ago, on the 7th of October around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab. Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes! I was there at the robotics lab. Seeing this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all. This is great! Just knew Ponko must have seen something important. A murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable! The judge seems ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild. So, little Ponko, you think you can give us your testimony today? What I saw. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena Sykes came in and hugged Mommy Menace. And then Mommy Menace fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning room, and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point. Well, it sounds like the defendant was, without question, at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? Okay. At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that this witness is still a machine. Being a robot, it understands and capacity to express itself its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So what are you suggesting? The witness's statement needs to be interpreted. For example, the term hug and later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child. They don't, but... Yes. What this witness's statements are telling us is... that the defendant stabbed the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What? Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse? Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised. Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued. See, murdered after a heated argument, and then the victim fell down. I agree that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Hunko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that. When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode. But I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory. You may as well admit defeat now, right? A cross-examination would be useless. Don't be ridiculous! A cross-examination is never useless! Until now, think about it. Robots don't lie. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about wasting time. Very well, even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright. I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Alright.
Hold it!
Your regular recharge? What is that exactly? I have to refill my battery power or else I stop working. I go to the lab to do that. So that recharge occurs at around 2 p.m. around the time of the murder. That's right. I go every day at 2 p.m.
Hold it!
Hugged her, huh? Which Ashmore took to mean stop her with a weapon. You said the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother. Is that right? Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. Couldn't tell? Even though they were speaking so loudly? I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me. If it listened to every voice, it would be little better than a mobile eavesdropper. Well, that explains why some of Ponko's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that?
Hold it!
I don't want to delve too deeply here, but... Could you tell us how the victim appeared and acted at that moment? Mommy Menace was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound. Her heart? Mr. Wright? Have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system. How did he mention it? I do remember reading something like that there. They detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. But wait a minute. That means... Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment. Honko! How was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat? Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then. Of all the unlucky timing, if you had heard anything after that, it could have possibly proved that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder. I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry. The robot is assigned to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. But it does appear that it detects an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. Here. After Mommy Mana's heart started pounding in surprise, She fell by the window. It was a round window on the workbench side of the room. The workbench, huh? Uncle must be talking about that table right of where the jam robot is now. Is there something critical in Poncho's statement just now? There is. Your Honor, I believe this statement is critical. I'd like it added to your testimony.
Marvel! Poncho, would you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl.
Mommy Menace fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room.
Hold it!
Let's see. There are 2 round windows in the robotics lab. Which one did you mean? The one on the right, near the hanging scroll. That hanging scroll is Mommy Menace's prized possession. Okay. So in the picture of the crime scene from 7 years ago, there is definitely a hanging scroll on a Japanese face or mask hanging on the workbench side wall. But is there something problem with this statement?
Hold it!
Prosecutor Blackwell? I wonder what he went there for. His objective? I don't know. I don't know. I guess I can't very well ask Poncho to speculate. But what happened after Prosecutor Blackwell arrived?
Hold it!
You don't remember what happened next? An error, huh? I wonder if... Oh, data is suddenly cut off at that point. I don't know anything after that. The answer to that question is right here. According to the defense's theory, this photo shows the robot was being taken apart. Exactly. We can conclude that Poncho's error was a result of her being dismantled. Indeed. The bodies of these robots are designed to be controlled remotely by a separate computer. Yes, that's basically what Miss Blackwell explained to us too. She said their hearts and memories are stored on a separate computer. When the witness was taken apart, her loss the loss of her body, but not her body memories. That's how she is still able to give testimony about the events of that day.
Fascinating. It's as if she can be seriously wounded, but her skull still burns.
There's a few parts of Poncho's testimony that are hard to interpret. Edgeworth chose to interpret Hug as stabbed. I better try to iron out who did what, where, her, and to whom for myself. Hold on, Athena. I'm going to save you.
Objection!
I will find it. Poncho, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough. I was helpful. Hooray! I'm so happy! Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell from the window on the work side bench of the room. However, her body was discovered on the operating table.
But the operating table and the workbench are 2 different locations!
Exactly, Your Honor. We have just learned a new crucial fact. What could explain the 2 very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what. Let's try the 2. Pick them out. An 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, while Panko served near the workbench, couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder.
Whew, I am very relieved to hear that. Glad to know that the murder wasn't committed in front of poor little Paco here.
Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother, nothing more.
Objection!
Oh, there was right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever.
Green? I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit.
Hey, it was my favorite color. What can I say? If the defendant couldn't move the body herself, she could have moved it for her. Moved for her? But Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes were the only ones there. I agree. Since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system, it wouldn't be aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present.
And who do you suggest move the body?
Don't you know it is in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Ponko, allow me to ask you a question. My name is Ponko. Say it with me, man. Ponko. I believe you said you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table? Yes, I did. Athena asked me to. Athena asked you to?
And what did you move, little Ponko?
I don't know. Unless something has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is.
An ID tag, you saying?
Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We will scan them to tell us what a thing is. That paper in the lab did mention something about that. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, it said. It would appear that Miss Ponko here can't identify what is moved. My name is Ponko! But we humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not?
We do!
Well, I do, at the very least. Miss Ponko, under the defendant's command, move the body onto the operating table.
Ah!
Ponko, did you really move Miss Sykes' body? This is really important. Is there any way you can tell? Isn't there any way you can tell? I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell. Give it up, right? If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She capped the jacket with her ID tag on it, wrapped over a chair in the robotics lab, and only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
But Pongo is equipped with a facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't. So that means
Objection!
a face can be easily covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes.
He's right.
Summarize. Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench. Then, using the robot, she moved the body to the table, where she removed the sword and was stained in blood.
Order! But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place?
You want a reason? Very well. But you can't possibly have an explanation. Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friends. Calm and rational thoughts will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature?
I believe I read that robots can be assembled and dismantled there. Isn't that right?
That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds. And in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looked just like magic to me, and what she could do. You can't possibly be suggesting this young, sheltered girl had a difficult time in distinguishing robots from people.
But take a look at Panko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who punished it up like that. She must have thought that machines heal the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. Reminds me of my own grandchild.
No way. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanished without a trace,
Oscar Edgeworth! If you're about to claim what I think you're about, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can.
with all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table...
Hold it!
No! Don't say another word! Just stop! Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime. That can't be.
Free! Order! Order in the corn! Order in the corn, I say!
Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth. No more, no less. My fear is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantling or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did want to make it appear as if it never happened. And that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant. And the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt, remain unchanged. This just can't be true.
You're right. Do you have any evidence to refute the prosecutor's claim?
Evidence? Right. Let's see. I can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now, accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough.
What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Edgeworth's argument seems solid enough. But... There's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. If I do, there has to be something. I can't think of a single thing. Objection.
Prosecutor Blackwell!
This is quite the farce you're conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackwell? What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise.
Go on, we're listening.
This be the miracle I need? What is Prosecutor Blackwell trying to pull here? 7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor. And don't think you can alter that fact now. Your boldness? I will take to the stand. And I will take no for an answer. I won't take no for an answer.
Of course, Prosecutor Blackwell. Please go ahead.
Seven years ago, I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, but waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was.
Little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words,
Objection!
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened.
which would be...
She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. And there was no dead body either, of course. Meaning she must have left the room.
So the murder occurred after the time period Poncho describes in her testimony?
You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had a robot arm with something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself. And she always had Ponko move the heavy funds for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense. And yet...
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, are you trying, even now, to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a close today?
Objection!
You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer, beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell? Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come back now, it's all over.
Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder?
That's right. But let's hear your verdict. If you don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Oh, don't you dare, Judge! Don't forget I have the hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Miss Blackwell? Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rules of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor?
Blackwell, you selfish. Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my turn to make a decision. If no one has to counter it, I will announce my verdict. Is this really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I wanted to fly out of here and go save him. No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial. I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I can't let this happen. I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony.
Hold it! I think it was Athena there. Athena?
What are you feeling okay?
I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something.
Is if he really is,
It sure is Athena's help here. Her power might just be the thing to get us through this.
Objection!
Psych, Stono. No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent.
Objection!
These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know. What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible trial? Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. He started screaming that he didn't kill her. Even now, every time I stand in the courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. Not being heard, no matter how hard you try, feeling so helpless. Caught in people's stares, so stirred that it feels like your chest is in a vice. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet, you found a way to keep your fears at bay and become a lawyer. Thanks. That's because one day, I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction.
Miss Sykes, you realize what it would mean? You are the accused after all. You prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence, then...
The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years. And to face the truth.
Athena's being so brave. Confronting her past like this.
This might really be the last chance to save them both. Prosecutor Blackwell, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. Fine. But your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. Alright. We're gonna save. Oh, no, that's not it. When we future test your emotions along your testimony, we find the unexpected emotion. Wait a minute. There's really anything strange here. I don't know. I think maybe I made a mistake, Mr. Right. I think maybe you're right. Let's take another look. Oh, okay, that's the same. Oh. This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. But when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. Just now, you said that you went to the space center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. Ugh. The second I find an inconsistency, cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instability we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. Just have to keep chipping away at him. Then, bit by bit. Did you update his testimony, Athena? Got it, boss! When I found Miss Athena at the robotics lab, I was relieved. Now there's sadness. Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackwell. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had lain in wait to kill her be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness. But it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. Ugh. Can't be talking about that, can he? It was just a convenient subject for her research. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. My objective was to save Athena. From an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychological lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep. All I had to do was wait and kill. That's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. That's alright? How you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. It went up? I've never seen it do that before. I'm sure Blackwell is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lies on top of lies in an attempt to make his claims sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings. And that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? An evidence-based approach my work if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. There are no flaws in my testimony, and his boldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause, and let the law free me from these chains already.
Objection!
Okay. I don't think so. Not while I'm around. My contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions. Which should I tackle first? Let's try his emotions. Okay. Let's look for an inconsistent emotion. Got it, boss! If you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Okay, probably should go. Alright. Did that. Like a fat. Oh wait, yeah, surprise. Okay. Hang on. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprise he was? Punko. That toy figure attacked me. Miss Sykes knows full well my plan to rescue Athena. But she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Sykes had Punko do it? That's right. She ordered Punko to forcibly remove me on sight. Alright, so I slashed Punko up with the katana that was there in the lab. That regular old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. That's right! It's happening again! There's even more notes now! It's at 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling cohesive lies like that. His mind and will are really as sharp as and strong as a katana. Alright, let's try the testimony this time. I think there might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then. Oh, we can't press. We can't press. I think this isn't the thing we need to focus on.
Objection!
Alright. Compounding lies with more lies, it's never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Alright, take a look at this photo.
That's the photo of the supposed moment of murder, isn't it?
How many more times must I see that witch who stands me for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. see the bloodstain at the end of the Panku's arm where it was severed with the katana?
I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Ryan.
No, most likely, the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana.
The katana already had blood on it. Then it must have been the victim's blood.
That's right. But if that's the case, we have found a glaring inconsistency. Grr. You said in your testimony that you cut up a Panku and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Panku's arm in this picture.
What? But that couldn't be.
Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Panku's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. After Jason, whoever make a day. In other words, Professor Blackwell, your entire statement is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Ah! Tell the court the truth, Professor Blackwell, now! You have no idea what you're doing. His voice? There's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something. And he's right. You will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much. But the rest I'll take to my grave. Officer Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever you saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Anyone here? We saw the terrible scene. Everything else says the same. When you opened the door and saw Fia, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me, too? You know, it's innocent, huh? Can you honestly say that to be true? Believe that to be true? Right, don't know. I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. First, you finished right. It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operation table, with the bloody katana laid on the floor. And standing between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes, and as she sweetly said, "Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her." That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted.
No! Oscar Blackwell finally tells the truth. And this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. I tried to take my mother apart. I... Oh! I'm not gonna do this one. So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother? Athena! As I said, right? The truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on the operating table. A scientist used her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my fear was correct after all.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspiration on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people. She loved her daughter with all her heart. She loved me? Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? Yes. My head hurts every time I wore them. No, Athena. It's just the opposite. They emanate sound waves to nullify emotion input from the voices of people around you. Your power is much stronger than that it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life. No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much? Her love for you was real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That would have happened. It had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. You took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Uncle was a witness, so he put it in a case and held Athena close and vacated the lab. I threw Planko away at the boarding lodge trash chute, and I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. It would seem that we have now all... So we now have all the facts in this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. It can't end like this.
Objection!
Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back on things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this... I can't give up now. I have to say something. Anything. Even if it's a bluff. I was managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright? Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That is the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt.
But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Sykes this opportunity to confess?
Very well. Then if you would, please take the stand, Miss Sykes.
Thank you for letting me do this, Oscar Edgeworth. I'm gonna see. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of the law will come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt, and bring everything to its conclusion. I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hand, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down in the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have.
See, thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. Before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
Objection!
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright!
But, Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the clan to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
I say that you never change. Could you actually regress in these 8 years? Could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me in a matter of the heart, Edgeworth. As I can see straight into a person's soul. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off. Even from herself. There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that's not even she knows about yet. Might be looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence.
Well, for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Sykes' confession?
My memory is still a little hazy. There's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hand, and the feeling of stabbing in deep. I remember its warmth of her blood and it flowed down on the handle on my fingers. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of offense. I can just tell.
If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to the court now.
Let's try this.
Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim? Mr. Wright?
I respectfully and fundamentally disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it! I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers! That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please look on the handle of this sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my!
Objection!
The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memory. She mentioned it was hasty to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail.
Objection!
But she also said, there's no question I remember it. A fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memory means? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone. But she said herself that she remembered the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction of Athena's memory mean? Use a different weapon. Miss Sykes said blood flowing down the handle, but the katana handle was spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than a katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time, I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. But if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent.
A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly?
Right, of course he would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again? As always. How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here, not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration. But there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of these crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something! There was a high probability that Dot was in the lab. I don't have any particular weapon here in the evidence right now, but do you have a piece of evidence just like it? Other than the katana, this is another blade that might have been the crime scene. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Take that!
This.
But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Timmerman case!
Yes. That is the knife that took Mr. Turian's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits contain utility knives like this. This one are issued to Space Center employees. On the robotic lab, especially, we naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
But, besides the katana, no other bladed weapon is found at the site. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Objection!
Oh, of course I knew not. She told me just now. Then here's something else. As you already knew, there was a toolkit at the scene. But it didn't contain any blades. Here's a photo of its contents.
You're right! I don't see any kind of bladed tool!
Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? There is. Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contains a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You're the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Says the guy doesn't have an art major, I guess. Because Phoenix has one, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, he is simply watching out for your health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright.
Notice that the handle of each of these tools have a sort of design on them.
Ah, I see that they do. But what significance does that have?
It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we arrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might... Yeah, so... guess that 8 years passed and he occasionally fails. We might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Edgeworth? Just let it go, man. Show the court then, if you would. What the pattern? Oh, here it is. What pattern or design will we see if we rearrange these tools? I'm gonna save to be on the safe side.
Take that!
What design is this supposed to represent?
The GYXA logo, Your Honor. It's on all the Space Center documents and pamphlets. Oh yeah, you have heard about the new packs coming out tomorrow? Sure were. GYXA is the program that operates this Cosmos Space Center. Just look how brightly the GYXA logo shines in the spotlight above the entranceway. I really think the stars and rocket motif it's got going. GYXA, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program?
Ah, I think it's in now. But
Yep, and rescuers are getting a master pack too. Oh, I feel so sorry for Doug already. I already feel sorry because I think they've already recorded the first episode of the second series of Master Roulette, and the pack is coming out tomorrow. Poor Mr. Thief.
I think it's in now, but
Yes. With just a tool shown in this photo, the red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from Mr. Terrain Case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot, oh yeah, you're gonna rebuild then your rescue is that? If you complete the GYXA logo.
so what? And that means
Okay. Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. I'm wider at it. Admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one.
order on the court.
Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Oh, I think we actually have time. Oh. Did you go into the recent pack then? And try to get your hands on some fucking like emperors and troopers? Admittedly, Miss Sykes most definitely did stab someone using this utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was a katana. Emperor, okay. Therefore, the act of stabbing the Miss Sykes, remember, couldn't have been that of Dr. Sykes. Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again? What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? Don't be ridiculous! Or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Sykes couldn't put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder. You know, there's that idea I want to play about with, but I can't do it yet. Because certain cards aren't released yet in Master Duel. Miss Sykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon. And then concealed the knife on her personally until Blackbook carried her away.
That does clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memory and the evidence.
I mean, it's an experiment idea, so it might not be a good deck. If, in fact, the murder weapon is utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court!
Objection!
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright. Oh, okay. What'd you get it off then? Alright. Oh, it's on the op, by the way. It'll be on the op and it's just a regular tournament. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask. How did the spring break go? By forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there are only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder? And the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands. Yeah, some people. No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife. As long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? I'm assuming you went with Tyrannomon? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and the suspicions keep coming back. Okay. It's almost as if... Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradiction keeps vanishing because the charge is true. Oh, of course. Oh, okay. It's Tyrannomon and Tyrannomon stuff. Okay. Got it. And the suspicions keep coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. When you heard her, I did Leopard Bunny, so I can't say anything. He's right. When will you open your eyes and accept the truth? Yeah. Ah! Yeah. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. Yeah. But what if? It's alright. You fought a goof.
Alright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No, stop out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in the doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It's not over. It isn't over yet. Right. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I've always believed in her. To the very end. I'm sorry, I always believe in her. The defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. I don't see a way. I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with the utility knife. This must be what Pancho witnessed as Athena's hug. The prosecutor Blackwell didn't see the knife at the scene. That means someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the utility knife from the lab? Someone else. Whoever person was this. I trusted Athena, and I had to conclude that there was a third person at the scene. But according to Pancho's testimony, Athena and my mother were the only two there. Then, how did the third person manage to escape Pancho's detection? I know, the person pushed full Pancho facial recognition by covering... The person hit their face. But wait a minute. Pancho has a heartbeat detection system too. Even if they covered their own face, Pancho would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it! The culprit could have covered their face. The culprit could have covered their faces and poses and switched which person they avoid detection. Meta 6. The person poses the victim. The culprit poses the victim. And that would explain why Pancho thought only she and Athena were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Pancho's face recognition features. The culprit used this in order to pose as the victim. And used this in order to pose as the victim. The victim's jacket. The culprit must have posed as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag on it. But that still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Pancho could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too. But does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead by that time? In that case, who did Athena stab? Okay. Athena stabbed the real culprit. That's it! The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor. That we can move on to the hostage negotiation. You're absolutely right, Prosecutor. I hereby...
Objection!
I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second. Because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. Now I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent. But Pancho saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Yes, Pancho did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother.
What do you say, Mr. Wright?
The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Sykes. What?
Objection!
Do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? According to the robot's statements, there was no third person there. Do you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time?
Objection!
After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? Ha! You make that pose all the time, regardless of the facts. What strange malfunction? Mr. Trian, you look pale. Shall I help you at the sick pay? Mr. Trian? That's Apollo you're talking to. Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo's possessed by Clay's ghost. That was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jacket ID tag. All because Clunko didn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. Like Mr. Etcher said, a mask could nullify the robot's facial recognition, and then all the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection!
Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also has a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third party at the scene, the robot would have detected them. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because, by that time, Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating. What? Oh, does that mean? Yes, Your Honor. The person Dr. Sykes, Miss Sykes stabbed, this third person who was posing as Dr. Sykes is her mother's real killer. But that's impossible. There it is. A mask? A person I stabbed was wearing a mask?
Order! Order in the court! Miss Sykes, did you say something?
A mask? Yes. I remember, Athena? What is it? I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head.
Miss Sykes, are you alright?
No! Black Cyclops. They're breaking. It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened that the day my mother was murdered. They're gone. The Black Cyclops are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena. was on the floor by the workbench with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there! A man!
Hold it!
Quiet, Your Honor! Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there, and he dodged the first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried to key in. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. And he kicked me. And I passed out. It's been updated. The murder weapon used on terrain in Athena also used one of these to stab the Phantom's hand during the incident 7 years ago. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. And we got. Okay. I had to do something. I had to fix her. I thought. So I asked Panko to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us crucial new testimony. A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man covered the victim's face. Yeah. I put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit.
Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned the mask.
Athena, can you tell us anything about that? Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab.
Oh, a mask hanging here on the wall!
It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that a Noma mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human into a phantom.
A phantom? It would seem that no suspect has emerged. And that means that all suspicions against Miss Sykes has...
You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict.
Miss Blackwell, this is not good.
A new suspect? Where's the proof that this person exists? Who said it wasn't just a dream in the little princess' groggy little head?
She's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection!
Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother.
Athena, I'm so glad for you.
More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Pancho came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Menace. And then Mommy Menace fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything.
I see where you're going with this. If Mommy Menace was really the killer in disguise.
Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m.
Do I have anything here, the evidence,
that can help me find this person who came to the robotics lab at 2 p.m. before 2 p.m.? Ah. Let's try this.
Take that!
Nope. Oh, right. Let's try the other way around. Nope. I want to get this right, so when I do, I should do multiple shots, attempts.
Take that!
So I mean, it was on my face and I didn't notice it. This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene of the crime after the incident, at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video camera show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check. Just as I thought. So if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene.
Everyone in! Let's take a look!
There! Please stop it right there!
It's just like you said! There's a man leaving the scene of the crime!
It's Sykes. Do you remember this person? That's him! I'm sure of it! He's wearing my mother's jacket! I did. But what I really wanted to see was her jacket. The jacket on display? That was Dr. Sykes? Can you see it? That's the slash I made with the utility knife that day. I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere.
So then, everything Miss Sykes said...
Exactly. It proves Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes arrived at the rock slot before 2 p.m. He killed her and hit her face with a handkerchief. Then he disguised himself as Dr. Sykes' with Dr. Sykes' jacket and a laboratory in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that puncture charge is up at 2 p.m. that day. So he waited for Panko to come to the lab for her regular recharge? By leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Panko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. All to disguise the real time of death.
Objection!
It's a nice theory, Mr. Wright. But I'm afraid that it's just not possible.
What? Why not?
The victim's jacket is clearly visible right there in the video. And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond doubt that it belonged to the victim. If a person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket, then how could it possibly have wound up back at the crime scene? What's going on here? That doesn't make sense. It was right. The culprit was wearing the jacket. How did he get back to the lab? Nope. That was an accident. I didn't think of it. Killer brought it back. The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make it escape. Alright. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved!
Objection!
Except that it would have been impossible. The only person who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackwell and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. So, where do you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket?
A puzzling question indeed.
When did the culprit have the chance to bring the jacket back? When the body was found. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Is that right? Oh. Do you realize the implication of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body.
I would never have thought of that.
Alright.
Order in the court. What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth?
The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probe's capsule in preparation for the HAT-1 launch. One of those people had a special bag to transport the capsule in. Oh? You mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I see to it that you've got the reports on those 3 people. I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people. Sorry. You will? We should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. If this person felt the need to hide his face with a theater mask, it might mean his facial data was once registered.
Edgeworth? Does this mean?
I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memory to be credible. You win, Mr. Wright. You win, right? Not that this was ever an official trial anyway.
My eyes deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding?
Is this a true, boss? Does this mean I can't believe it. It's over. I won. I proved that both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Objection!
Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial?
That's right. I'm the one supposed to say, I see no need to further prolong.
Not you either, Your Honor. Now silence. The little princess who was truly beloved by Metis, and who replaced that love with death. All these years, he and Athena was the only thing that kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anyone tell me? How am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackwell. How unlike you, Aura. Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and she chose you as her partner. Isn't that? Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her. Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted.
And what did you want from her?
Did you really just go with her, Your Honor? Aura, there's something I want to say, if you will lend me your ear. An ear. I have in my possession a lead on who Metis' murderer is. You do? Right, Dono. You asked him about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. Phantom. The person Blackwell has been looking for, even from behind bars. 7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hat 1 rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We knew not about him, his background, appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred. And I attained the lead on him.
Oh, how exciting! What was the lead?
I recorded the Phantom's voice, but the quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet, I had hope. Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. And that scientist was Dr. Sykes? Yes. A spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity revealed. In addition to the Hat 1, Dr. Sykes' results and the recordings were surely amongst his targets. But his search at the Space Center Cosmos bore no fruit. He must have started to panic.
Couldn't find them! Where could they have been?
Who's to say? Wow. I bet he never let that out of his sight in all these years. How in the world did you smuggle them into prison? Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner's especially talented at that sort of thing. I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher, became my taunt. And what about the results Dr. Sykes drew out for you? Were there any useful information? Here, you can see for yourself. But take good care of it. It's all I have of my mentor.
I will.
Better hold than it's real tight. Phantom's psych profile at the record. The subject's emotions rarely fluctuate and he doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. Psychological profile classified. Update, okay. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation? Huh? A spy who experiences no emotion, not sadness, no anger, and naturally, no fear. He is the very definition of a phantom. A monster of no heart, don't you see? This creature is the rot that destroyed our lives and set what ails us all into motion. Phantom indeed. A fitting name for the person who has brought darkness to our world.
Oh then, it seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a formal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdicts and bring this procedure to an end.
Whatever. Do what you want. You hear no objections from me. Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over.
Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, you please take the stand.
It's already there.
As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Sykes.
Yes, Your Honor? Mr. Wright? Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Athena,
You're more than welcome.
if everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. Objection!
I can remember the Apollo one.
No!
Apollo? What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you see Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet.
Why, Apollo? Why would you do this to us?
Yeah, sadly, as much as I want to finish this, time is... I'm gonna have to call time. We'll have to finish this on Friday, so... Yeah, we're on the last hurdle now. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Hope you guys this week. We'll finish this up Friday. Got another thing, but... Got another thing of it, but... Yeah, we'll end it all Friday, so we should... So by the end of this week, we should at least finish Dual Destinies, and we'll be moving in the Spirit of Justice by next week. I'm going to wrap things up here. Hope it's a good day this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.